Guys, Belfast Boxing and Blues. God damn it. I have been. Jesus Christ. Most people would have that sorted before they hit record, wouldn't they? Not this guy. Not at all. Yes. How's it going, folks? Haven't done a boxing video in a couple of days. Not since Saturday. I did a preview and prediction for the Ford Komatov fight. Turned out to be a real good fight, quite dramatic. Ford got the win, knocked him out in the 12th round. It was a strange one, you know. Komatov seemed to be turning away from him. It was a strange one, but I suppose he's nobody to blame but himself, really, for what happened there. So boo-hoo. Let's get some light action kicking here, yeah? I don't know if that helped at all. We'll stick with the lighting situation we have. Yeah, so just gonna do a quick roundup of the news here and just check in really. Until later in the week where we'll be doing previews and predictions for the Anthony Joshua Francis Ngannou fight, which is gonna be awesome. Oh yes, baby. Uncle Turkey has been working his behind off. And look what we have. I mean, have you seen the trailer? Something else altogether. I would like to see that extended. I would like to see a full length version of it, feature length version of that. Okay, so top article, more or less. Mike Tyson, what's wrong with Canelo? What's wrong with Canelo? Is he afraid of losing? David Benavidez is pictured. Mike Tyson has accused Canelo Alvarez, 62-2, 39 KOs. It's a lot of fights of disrespecting boxing and Mexico, with the undisputed super middleweight champion allegedly walking away from a lucrative proposal to face his mandatory challenger, David Benavidez, 28-0, 24 KOs. That's a nice percentage. A very nice percentage. A fight between Canelo and Benavidez is one of the most attractive in boxing and has long been discussed, with Benavidez holding the WBC's mandatory challenger status at 168 pounds for more than 2 years. Wow, that long. Samson Lukovic, Benavidez's manager, claimed in recent weeks that Canelo had rejected an offer to face Benavidez, only for Canelo's manager Eddie Reynoso to spurn the notion that the offer Lukovic discussed was put to him or Canelo. It's very hard to try and pronounce that name if you've never heard it said out loud. If you haven't had it broken down or explained to you, you know, it put me in a very difficult position there, didn't it? In an interview with Marca, Tyson said he was surprised that Canelo walked away from a proposed multi-million-dollar fight with his natural rival, Benavidez. I can't believe what I just heard, Tyson told Marca, responding to erroneous reports that the Mexican had turned down a deal of some $60 million. What's wrong with Canelo? Is he afraid of losing? Doesn't he want to give the fans the fight they want to see? Don't you want to give the fans the fight they want to see? He said that twice. He must have been really worked up when he said that. Always strange when you read that in article form. You sort of have to use your imagination a bit, don't you? Tyson, if he found himself in Canelo's position, said he would have accepted the offer, while accusing Alvarez of disrespecting the sport and Mexico and questioning his heart to fight the best. Do you not respect the legacy of the great Mexican champions who faced the best regardless of the money? Tyson asked. This is a shame for boxing and for Mexico. If I were him, I would accept the fight with Benavidez and show the world that he is the best. But it seems he doesn't have the courage to do it. It is a shame because he has a lot of talent, but he lacks heart. A fair indictment. Really, you can't really argue with any of that, can you? But this is boxing. Boxing is a business, you know. I mean, Tyson's well placed to sort of make those kind of accusations because, well, he did fight everybody, you know, more or less. He took on the challenges, you know, while dealing with the challenges in his own life. He got on with it, like, didn't always win, especially not after he'd been to jail. But you know what? He uh, he must have learned something when he was in there. He picked something up. Funny talking about jail. I heard a story today about this guy. Right, a friend of mine was in court the other day, and he says he got talking to a fella. They were in the sort of waiting area or whatever. There was a guy that was in crutches, and they got talking and this and that. And the fella was telling him, he asked him what he was in for. He says, a compensation claim. And it turned out what happened. This guy, right, had made an offer. No, sorry, he hadn't made an offer. He had put in for a claim for like disability benefit. And there was nothing wrong with him. Absolutely nothing wrong with this person. But he put in this claim, and you know how it is. You're gonna say everything like. But this guy went to town, like he said he couldn't walk, he couldn't go to the toilet. He really, really dressed it up to something far from reality, and he got run down by a truck. Yeah, so he came into court to look about getting some money. But he'll definitely get his disability benefit now. So I suppose he's got that going for him. But unfortunately, his hips will never be the same again. I know. I suppose there's a lesson in that somewhere. Right? Let's see. New Warren signing. Cairns ready to make an impression. Oh, an Irishman. Let's see. Undefeated lightweight Steve Cairns has flown under the radar, considering he is one of Ireland's most exciting prospects. He recently signed with Frank Warren, with news of his Queensberry debut expected this week. I'm back and I'm going to be on TV soon, knocking some guys out, Cairns said, exclusive to boxingscene.com. I'm delighted about signing with Frank. It is just the platform I need for my career right now. Cairns, 7-0 with 4 knockouts, turned professional in 2021, having shown as an amateur, with an impressive record of 110 wins versus 10 losses. That's quite good, isn't it? The Cork native had a pair of fights in Europe before signing with the now defunct Pro Bellum. The 21-year-old had 3 consecutive fights in the UK before knockout wins on the road last year. I've been doing a lot of learning while fighting away in Denmark and Uzbekistan, Cairns explained. I've also fought in Germany and Spain. It was a great experience. But now it is time to start building my fan base in the UK, live on TNT Sports. I can't wait to get going. Airplanes, Mom. What is that? What is that? Huh? What is it? I can't wait to get going. My next fight will be in April. It should be announced by the end of this week. We were in talks with other promoters. We just thought Frank Warren brings a lot of champions through, and he knows how to build young fighters, especially fighters like myself. We came and talked to Frank, had a good conversation, talked to Frank, and decided to go with Frank Warren. We will have the right path with him. Cairns joins Warren's stable whilst British boxing is seeing unprecedented televised events. Saudi Arabia have added a further unprecedented economic boost that has seen rival promoters start to join hands in the Middle East. It's a strange scene of world peace there. I think boxing is very exciting right now. Cairns continued. Eddie Hearn in brackets and Frank. That's always confusing, isn't it? When you go to read one of those and there's something in brackets and Frank are working together. Even the TV stations are working together. But I want to be out in Saudi and in these big fights getting that big dough money. In case you didn't know what dough was. I'm solely focusing on myself at the moment though. There is no particular fighter I'm looking at. But by the end of this year, I feel like I am ready to take on some of these guys. The 5v5 thing is very interesting with Eddie going up against Frank. You never know. It's all up to my manager, Dave Coldwell, at the end of the day. I live in Rotherham full time. I moved over when I was 18. I've been over here with Dave for 3 years now. Oh, Rotherham. I was thinking like Rotterdam or something like that. It is what you have to. It is what you have to do. Take yourself away from home comforts and come over here to learn. I do feel like I am improving loads. Big time boxing in Ireland has re-emerged in the sporting calendar after a prolonged absence. Best of luck to him. Best of luck to him. Yeah, we'll just let that tail off at the end. Um, and there's a wee comment in there from ADOTD. Is that like attention deficiency or something? Cairns is class. Expect big things from him. Full stop. Yeah. So whoever that is, he might know something. Look, let's just read some of the rest of the headlines, guys, and we'll tidy up and make this very quick. Tyson not his hands on with Ngannou for Joshua fight. I suspected that might be the case. Yes. Um, it was a bit of a. I don't want to say. Well, it was certainly. It looked good for the first fight, didn't it? With Mike Tyson involved, you know, the big name. They did a little podcast. He had been on hotboxing with Mike Tyson, and you know, it really helped bring more eyes to the event. But you know, then we found out that it was Dewey Cooper that was training him. All right, so what was Mike Tyson doing with him? Oh well, we got the cameras in and had them hit the pads. I'm sure there was more than that to it. And Mike Tyson obviously is a very philosophical guy. So you could imagine Mike was maybe talking to him more about those things, maybe some technical things. But I imagine Mike was sort of just giving him some advice, probably off his head on mushrooms. Fury healed and ready to go for Usyk. Oh, let's see now. Do we have a quote from the Gypsy King? Let's see. I hope so. Tyson Fury insists that the cut that caused the postponement was eagerly awaited fight with Alexander Usyk has already healed and that he is ready to stop Ukrainian when they finally meet in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on May 18th. Da 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 da. In this game, sorry, I can't do an impression of Tyson Fury. I'm trying not to do impressions. I keep doing it by mistake, but sorry, I'll just read this in a normal voice. In this game, shit happened, he told the Stomping Ground. Apologies for the swearing. Worse things have happened at sea. It won't be the first and it won't be the last time a fight has been cancelled with an injury. It is what it is. At first I was a little bit pissed off because of the typical Tyson Fury spiel here. Like, he just goes off on one, doesn't he? At first I was a little pissed off because it didn't look like it was going to happen and we didn't have a date. As soon as I got the date 2 days later, it was fantastic. Everything's good. Given the apparent severity of the cut, May 18th had seemed optimistic. Getting into the ring is one thing, but there were legitimate concerns about just how badly the cut would disrupt Fury's sparring. Yeah, it's healed already, huh? God. It's already healed now, actually, he said. A cut takes about 8 weeks to heal. I had 15 weeks from cut to fight date. So plenty of time. I'm not worried about the cut. If the cut opens in the fight, fuck it, so what? I've had plenty of cuts before, it's a fight. I think I'll take him out in 7 rounds. It'll be an interesting fight. Obviously, there's lots of sort of talk about Fury's not what he was. You know, we've seen him in the Ngannou fight. Has he slipped a little? What's going on here? He's pulled out with this cut. That it doesn't look good. Sure, it doesn't. It looks as if something dodgy is going on. I still have belief in. I have faith in the Gypsy King. I think he will win that fight. I just think he's a winner. And he has all of the skills, the abilities, and the intangibles to get that win. And I don't get me wrong, Usyk is a insane fighting machine, you know, boxing skills. The thing is, against a lesser fighter, someone that doesn't have that same IQ, because Fury's IQ is comparable with Usyk's. So Usyk can't really outsmart him, because there's nobody smarter than Fury, you know. And, you know, they probably are comparable in terms of ring smarts, but they're both different. They're polar opposites at the same time and how they go about their work. So it'll be really interesting to see. And what I think will make the difference is who can make the adjustments in that fight. And I think Tyson Fury is the kind of fighter that can make adjustments on the fly if and when he needs to. He can come forward and take fighters down. I'm sure he hasn't forgotten how to fight off the back foot and be coy and silky and skillful when he needs to, you know, not load up on his shots so much and just play a little more loose, you know. And if he gets Usyk into a spot where he can start to walk him down, where he gets a bit tired after he's warmed down and only done him for 6 or 7 rounds, then he can start driving them straight rights right down the pipe, like he got Deontay Wilder in that second fight with. He was throwing them in, and thank God the referee stopped it when he did, because he was going to do that man some serious damage. Jesus. So there's that. Ngannou's trainer, Joshua under pressure to do better than Fury. Yeah, Yeah, sure. Let's hear from Dewey Cooper. Dewey Cooper has predicted a stoppage victory over Anthony Joshua when they fight on Friday evening. He was asked what he thought, and he says, "I'm taking Francis Ngannou by stoppage. Every time we go to fight, the goal is victory, but we are trying to dominate our opponent and stop them." Now, this guy, I don't know what his sort of CV is as a coach and a trainer, but obviously, if you just go by Ngannou's first fight, he done quite well. I don't think, you can say what you want about Tyson, wasn't at his best and stuff. I don't think anybody expected Ngannou to be as good as he was, to box that well. Especially I think in the build-up there were clips of him hitting the pads and stuff, and it was like, this guy doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. But when he was in the ring, his hands were up and he knew where he was. I think the danger with Ngannou is he is prone to gas. Those guys. He's a massive guy. He's a monster of a fella, and they're used to fighting, what is it, 5 3-minute rounds or 5 5-minute rounds in the cage. Sometimes only 3 5-minute rounds, whatever it is. And usually he stops them, so he's not used to going the distance. I don't know if he's conditioned, especially boxing, rather than in the cage where the movement is different and stuff. And in boxing, the mental pressure and everything as well, it takes a toll on you physically. I think we've seen it in the Fury fight. Maybe I was seeing things, but it seemed to me like 6th round, 7th round, from there onwards he started to gas a little bit. And I think we're going to see the same thing in the Joshua fight. The intrigue then for me is, can Joshua outbox him and really put on a great performance and hit him hard? Is he willing to risk getting himself into the position in order to be able to deliver those harder shots? And if and when Francis Ngannou catches Joshua on the chin, on the temple, the cheekbone, the orbital bone, wherever he gets hit, how's Joshua gonna react? So there are a lot of talking points in this one. Well, let's see what he's got to say here. So either knockout or unanimous decision win, we'll take it, but we always go in with the intent of stopping whoever is in front of us. Cooper was oozing with confidence when talking of his fighter's abilities, but was by no means under the impression that Joshua would be an easy task. We're looking forward to March 8th, showing the world how great Ngannou actually is and taking out Anthony Joshua. I rate Joshua as 2 of the 3 top heavyweights in the world today. Okay, fair enough. He's been a terrific champion. He's an Olympic gold medalist. So of this era, he's one of the greats here. We rate his punch power very highly. That's what's so intriguing about this matchup. You've got 2 power punchers in there. Fair enough. He had 3 very impressive fights in a row, 2023. He looked tremendous. He's going to get something different, something that the world of boxing has never seen. He'll feel that storm. He'll feel the strength, and he'll feel that spirit of a true warrior on March 8th coming at him. I don't know if you've ever seen Dewey Cooper at the Mayweather Boxing Channel, where you get like Jeff Mayweather going around interviewing these guys. He would be interviewed quite often. He's got like a wrestler touch. He sounds like he's constantly gonna wheeze. He sounds like Ryan Garcia, only from this kind of a build. So he's like, I just want to tell you, Francis Ngannou's gonna come out. Yeah, there's that type of thing. Yeah. So hopefully we get to hear him on the mic a little more in the lead up. This is only Francis's 2nd boxing fight, so of course Francis has never faced anyone like him. But he's the experienced boxer. He's the Olympian. He's a 2-time world champion. He's never we're flogging the horse here until it's been stuffed and hung up on Frank Warren's mantelpiece. Alright, we're more or less done here. There's one more we'll have a quick look at. Coach Andy Lee tips heavyweight Hope Moses Itauma, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I've just been thinking about this guy for the very top. Let's see now. Trainer and former world middleweight champion Andy Lee, he pulled it out with a right hook, didn't he? Back against the ropes, he cleaned the guy out. Wasn't that a good win for Andy Lee? Knows a good heavyweight when he sees one. The Irish star has been an invaluable member of Tyson Fury's camp, and he has reinvented New Zealander Joseph Parker for the second act of Parker's pro career, coming in the shock win over Deontay Wilder in December. I think he's getting a lot of credit and a lot of praise at the minute. He seems that he is becoming very well respected as a trainer, um, after having been a world champion as a fighter, which is kind of cool. So hopefully he lives up to his credentials with this one. Lee has spent the last several weeks in Saudi Arabia, firstly with Fury, as he concluded his preparations for his aborted February fight with Alexander Usyk, now slated for May, after Fury was cut in sparring. And Lee has stayed out there with Parker, who is now wrapping up training to face Zile Sang on Friday, March 8th. But through training, another heavyweight is called Lee Zai, and is 7-0, 5 KOs, 19-year-old Moses Itauma. Itauma is being guided by Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren. Hall of Fame? How did Frank Warren get into the Hall of Fame? And the young contender has made waves in the UK, sparring some of the best fighters in the decision as he has gone about learning his trade. Moses is very good, very, very good, says Lee. It's hard to say how good he is, but he is very, very good. I think he has it all, and I think he can go as far as he wants to, providing there's no unforeseen calamity or accident, or he goes off the rails completely. He's a southpaw. He can do it all. He's a southpaw, obviously. Strong, fast, very strong, powerful, punching wise, good puncher, clever as well. And he has a great style in terms of pressuring and moving. He basically has it all. There are ways he can improve, but he just needs to experience. He just needs experience in the ring and time in the ring, and he's a very exciting prospect. He fought 7 times last year, which is great to see. I've seen a few of those fights, and his hand speed, with good powerful shots and a nice punch selection for a heavyweight is quite frightening. What age is this guy? 17, 18, 19? Yeah, this could be good. He's a big character, big personality, takes over a room when he walks in, and he's all the makings of a star, and this is what we want to see too, isn't it? We need the characters, man. It's got to be a character. The sooner you can find yourself as a person and become a character, it's just better for everybody. Itauma has already done 10 quality rounds with the veteran former champion Parker this camp, and Lee said it was quality work for both boxers. Moses said to me, and all the people Moses has sparred, that Joe has been his toughest spar, so that means a lot for me, Lee continued. It was even sparring, they both had moments, that's how good young Moses is, but Moses sparred with Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua, Fury, the list goes on and on. Now, we're seeing a resurgence here with Joseph Parker at the minute, which is great to see. He had a very good showing. He came up short against Joyce, but he looked good in that fight, because it sort of went off the radar for a while, and then he came in and beat Wilder with a very good performance. There wasn't much you could fault in that performance. Wilder maybe wasn't at his very best, but Parker got the job done. He seems to be in a good place. Now, if you think about him being in sparring with this Moses Itauma guy, and then you think back to the clips we were seeing whenever Joe was coming out of New Zealand as the WBO heavyweight world champion at that time, okay? We're going back 10 years now, something like that. And you remember the speed and the power that he had. Now, unfortunately, he came into an era where Anthony Joshua was quite a bit bigger than him, Tyson Fury quite a bit bigger than him, Deontay Wilder quite a bit bigger than him. He beat him, but he fought Anthony Joshua. Joshua was fighting everybody coming forward then. This was the first fight that he really boxed, if you know what I mean. He stood off Parker, and it was quite a boring fight, and that was sort of the beginning of the end for Joe Parker until this resurgence, But if you remember seeing those clips and seeing what he was capable of, if he can even show some of that stuff, I don't mean show directly, like here, you can do this to Moses Itauma, but if he can give that kind of work to Moses Itauma, you know what I mean? Because Parker might be capable of doing a lot more in the gym than what he is able to come the night he has to perform. When you're in the ring with a against a great fighter. You know what I mean? It sort of limits your output or something a little bit. You know, but he's a bit more free. He's in with this young guy. He can show him glimpses of like when I was right, just coming into my prime. This is what I was like. So if Moses is hanging in with him there, on that level, you know, and picking things up, and he can pick his brain and pick all these guys' brain. I'm sure these older guys too. They see him and they go, "Oh, he's Moses. He's the one. He's the one with the skills. He's got the temperament. Get a bit of character, a bit of confidence about him too. Don't let him get too confident. Okay, right. We'll bring him along. Bring him along." Those guys will be keeping an eye on him, and they'll be happy for somebody like him to pick their brain. Now again, we don't know that for sure. Conjecture, speculation, whatever it is, but you sort of have to do that, don't you, if you want to try and get an idea of what's going on. So, like, he's what else has Andy Lee got to say here? As well as Parker, Lee works with Irish welterweight hope Paddy Donovan, who's 13-0 and on the cusp of a breakthrough fight. Lee is a former Kronk fighter who learned the sport from Emmanuel Stewart and then Adam Booth, so he knows what is needed to get to the highest level. And Lee thinks Donovan and Itauma can both get there. Him and Paddy are very similar in that they're very accomplished, but the thing they're lacking in is experience and time in the ring with different opponents and facing different challenges. Lee went on. Moses has been all around sparring, but it's not the same as fights. Paddy is similar in that sense. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we've seen from Paddy Donovan is his skills are great. He's a very, very skilled guy. He's a very tidy fighter. He's a great boxer and he can punch as well. And he's an Irishman. Brilliant. You need to get that time in the ring. This is why I don't think they should rush the Donovan Crocker fight. Don't make that happen too soon. You know, don't cash out in that. Don't do that. Let these guys get in some good learning fights. And you know, you want to see them moved. Let's not run them down the Anthony Yard trail. You know, the Frank Warren favourite of, I'll throw him in with another Hungarian. There's a Bulgarian this weekend. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, who are these guys? You're just going in and knocking these guys over. You're not learning anything. You know, a few of those is okay, but if you think about how the McGuigans move their fighters, you know, you see someone with real potential. Very measured, very well calculated, but each time, yeah, they're going to win the fight, but they got to go and do something, you know what I mean? And each time they'll grow. But like I'm sure whoever's handling all of that has a fair idea of what they're doing. I'd just like to see the best get out of both of these guys, you know, personally speaking. Well, you know what? That's more or less the end of that, guys. Look, we'll finish on that. Actually, was on the bus up the road today, and I realised that there's a boxing gym like about 200 yards down the street from me. So I find them on Instagram and Facebook, and I've hooked up with these guys. I'm gonna go. I'm just getting over a flu, mostly over it today. I have a few more Lemsips to take and a good night's sleep tonight and tomorrow night, and hopefully Wednesday night I'm gonna go into the gym and you know, make a wee start. Make a wee start on the boxing. So this should be good fun. Everybody take care of yourselves. Belfast Blues and boxing. Behave.